In Guadalupe Nettl's contemporary novel El Cuerpo en que Nací, the concept of change prevails through the narrative voice. Written in retrospect, the semi-autobiographical novel scans the life and trialships of the author as she grows from a young girl into an adult. The novel takes into account many pressing issues, including the separation of the protagonist's parents. Rather than treating this as a distressing issue as one would expect, the concept is treated with an air of acceptance. This gives us the impression that time has bridged the gap between the young girl that is newly dealing with a broken home and the sophisticated adult who, with experience of change, has smoothed out the creases of the past. This likens to the existential idea that we are the result of the decisions we have made thus far, a concept that removes the fear from change and instead places us into a position where we are the ultimate deciders of our own fate. The Bildungsroman format of the novel enhances the impression that as readers we are learning and progressing at the same rate as our protagonist. This is cemented by the intertextual focus upon literature in the novel, such as the books that are frequent gifts from the father, that expands the borders of the book to include worlds of literary knowledge. From this we can extract the mind of the protagonist is constantly growing. However, we assume that the events and attitudes are warped somewhat by retrospect. The narrative is formed on the sofa of a psychiatrist, as the patient relays her past tirelessly. It is this that secures the novel's complex structure of time, as we are able to jump from one year to another, depending only on human memory for reference. The concept of change is dealt with rationally, as in scanning the past, the only real awareness is the concrete existence of the person at the time of remembering. The past that they scan is the ingredients that make up who they are now, as bitterness is replaced with actuality. Contrasting to this is the nonchalance of Gregor Samsa in Kafka's short story, The Metamorphosis. Here we see an alternative reaction to the conditions of change, somewhat shocking in his profoundly unfazed reaction to having been turned into a beetle during the night. Where Nettle scanned the span of many years, this story takes on a much slower pace, insinuating the excruciating slow boredom felt by Gregor as he was confined to an empty bedroom for the final weeks of his life. The staticity of the character is accentuated by his unchanged internal narrative voice, which remains the same whether human or bug. This normalizes the effect of change, and in addition to the slow narrative pace, it seems as though easy to cope with such extreme measures of change. Here we see two alternate reactions to change. The retrospective eye of Nettle in El Cuerpo en que Nací, that deals with memory and aging in a realistic and well-rooted manner, in comparison to the extreme nonchalance of Gregor, in which the only reaction to change is shown through the voices of his family. This alerts us the theory that sometimes we are able to deal with our own matters of change. We are better able to deal with our own matters of change than we are able to deal with that of the ones that we love.